Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us in this discussion on going paperless. Some items on our agenda today will touch on some theory as well as technical consideration on what and how to digitize, as well as a survey of our public-facing collections and how to search for information on our sites.
The Office of Archives, Statistics and Research, ASTR, serves as the official record center and archives of the Church's world headquarters.
The agenda for today is as follows. First, we will talk about what is digital document management. Then, we will touch on principles of document management and the paperless initiative of ASTR. Following that, we will apply theory to reality and talk about the digitization process in ASTR. We'll then wrap up our session with our survey of the online resources available to you from ASTR. First, what is digital document management? Digital document management is the use of a computer system and software to store, manage, track electronic documents and electronic images of paper-based information captured through the use of a document scanner. In other words, it is a type of document management that uses an application, in most cases, that controls and organizes records throughout an organization. There are 8 principles of document management that one can use to set the standard or guidelines for record management within your organization. These are compliance, retention, accountability, integrity, protection, disposition, transparency, and availability. Compliance means to comply with all applicable laws and other binding authorities, including the organizational policy. Retention is to maintain all records and information for the appropriate amount per legal, fiscal, operational, historical, or organizational requirements. Accountability is to have a senior executive set to oversee the management and coordinating strategy for all records and information to appropriate personnel. Integrity means that records and information generated have a reasonable and suitable guarantee of authenticity and reliability. Protection means to ensure an appropriate level of protection to records and information that are private, confidential, privileged, or essential to business continuity. Disposition is the secure and appropriate disposition of records per the retention guidelines set out by applicable laws and the organization. Availability is the timely, efficient, and accurate retrieval of the information. And finally, transparency is that process and activities shall be documented in an understandable manner and available to all personnel. Now that we've talked about the principles behind document management, let's talk a little bit about the paperless initiative and, more importantly, why we would want to digitize. It is important to be able to answer the question, why we want to digitize, as it will guide us in determining what to digitize. A few reasons to digitize are availability, allowing users to have access to necessary records in a timely, easily accessible method. To reduce the dependency on processes that include paper as part of the process by transforming processes to a digitized automated version where possible, to reach a paperless environment. To digitize paper records in a way that they can be accessed, searched, indexed, secured, and that proper retentions may be applied to the records. Reduce redundancy of effort and duplication of records. To help in disaster prevention or recovery. Respond to audit and to preserve fragile physical records. Now that you've determined why you want to go paperless, let us determine what to digitize. Going paperless in an organization starts with selecting 1 or 2 pilot departments and identifying the records that need to be digitized and the process that generates these records. Is the process generating the records a paper-based process, or are the records born digital? If it's born digital and then printed to be scanned, then re-evaluate the process in order to transfer your records to the official digital repository. Once the processes and the departments have been identified, one needs to determine what the records types exist in the department. Audiovisual media, such as DVD, VHS, or microfilm, images, paper records, fragile documents, oversized documents. The next step, after determining what to digitize, is to determine how you will find the digitized record. In this step, one asks the following questions in order to determine the metadata, or the data about the information that needs to be recorded. These questions are: how to retrieve the record, how will the data be used, and who will be using the data. In other words, What kind of keywords will you use to find a record? Is the record a PDF or video? If it is a PDF, do we want to search through the text? And if it's a video, perhaps there is an event or location information that should be added to a field in order to find this video. And lastly, the question, who will use the records, will govern the access right of the information. Finally, after determining why you want to digitize, what you need to digitize, and how to find the digitized information, you need to determine the resources needed to digitize the information. In most cases, if not all cases, you will need an electronic content management system, an ECM, a server to host the ECM, a client computer to run the software, and scanners to digitize physical paper records. In ASTR, we use two ECMs, Laserfish and Versatile, to govern and store our digitized records. We use Versatile to inventory the boxes and Laserfish to store the digitized content. In ASTR, the procedure to digitize records is as follows. We identify a project and retrieve the physical documents to be scanned. We itemize the box content using Versatile and print a box label and add metadata to records to be scanned by creating a cover sheet for each folder or grouping of information found in the box. The next step is scanning and verification. We prepared a hard copy for scanning, removing all staples and paper clips, identify paper or other object that will not scan or may damage the scanner, and photocopy objects that cannot be scanned. The records are then scanned using appropriate scanners, where it be high-speed or flatbed scanners, depending on the material. The scanning operators will do quality check as they scan, checking for missing pages, misscanned pages, or blank pages. Once the records have been scanned, the next step is post-processing and report. In this step, workflow runs to import the scanned documents to Laserfish and apply appropriate metadata based on the information found on the cover sheets. The boxes, depending on the retention guidelines, are either kept or slated to be disposed of at the end of its life cycle. It's important to note that not all hard copy are disposed. Reports are run, some weekly, some monthly or quarterly, with information such as date scan, missing documents, and who have scanned the records. Now, let's turn it over to Ashlee, where she can go through how we use some of these resources.
The main website has links to various resources, the Adventist Directory, to the new Encyclopedia of Seventh-day Adventists, to our online archives, to our research page, to church statistics, and to the online yearbook. But in addition to these links, we have materials on our website that can assist you in your research. Under the About section, you can learn more about who works at ASTR, such as Elizabeth and myself, view announcements, read answers to frequently asked questions, get links to our social media, and see how you can support the archives. The ASTR site's drop-down menu provides the links to the various sections of our site as previously described. Under Records Management, you can learn more about what it takes to keep church records organized, see examples of policies and forms that we use here in ASTR, and learn what can be done after a records management program has been undertaken at your congregation, organization, or entity. Under Get Involved, we share ways that you can read, watch, research, share, and donate in relation to the materials at the archives. The final section, Scholarship and Research, provides you with a plethora of options. If you're interested in the church's empirical research, there's resources for you, especially on the research section of our website. If you're looking for the materials related to recent studies, such as the one done on ordination, look under the Historical Theological Resources. And if you're looking for a list of GC presidents or the dates of the 1888 GC session, you can find that information under the Historical Research Resources link under Quick References. Here you can also find a link to our online archives, find out more about how to visit the archives in person, and view our citation manual for how to cite a variety of the documents that are found in the archives. The online archives, found at documents.adventistarchives.org, contains over 1.75 million pages of downloadable manuscripts, minutes, books, reports, and periodicals pertaining to the Adventist Church, largely scanned in-house using the principles and processes described by Elizabeth. This search bar, found on the right side of the page, can be used to search the entirety of the online archives. Thanks to our scanning team, all the materials have gone through a process called Optical Character Recognition, or OCR, which allows for such searches to be done. If you don't want to search the entirety of the online archives, click on any one of the sections, periodicals, minutes, or books, and then use the search bar on the right or the filters on the left to continue researching.
Thank you for joining us in this presentation. Please leave your questions in the chat and we'll answer them as best as we can.
Find the Adventist Archives on social media by following the links at adventistarchives.org/ASTR-social-media. Thank you.